Did it die? Yeah. Did it die? Did it die? I'm a stone cold killer. I'm a billionaire.
What's going on, everybody? This is Luke Knight. I've not posted in quite a long time, but I'm officially back on YouTube and will be posting throughout all of Madden 23. Now, I know this is a few days late, but I wanted to go over all the new features from franchise mode and screenshots from Friday's franchise deep dive. So the first screenshot I have is of Jason McCourty, and they're showing off his motivations and his player tag. So the new thing for free agency is motivations, and these are going to play a key factor on where somebody signs and how likely they are to sign with you. So the example that they used was Jarvis Landry wanting to play for the Saints, as he grew up in Louisiana. He went to college at LSU. So you can see at the top here, he has the close to home motivation. And when it's at the top, that means it's the most important motivation to where that player wants to sign. It's going to play the biggest impact on whether or not you can sign them. Underneath that, you can see Super Bowl chase, and that is the second most important motivation for him. Some players want to play close to home, some want to play for a Super Bowl contender, some just want the most money. As you can see here with Russell Gage, his most important motivation is to play with a franchise quarterback. That's why he left the Falcons to sign with the Buccaneers. Like I said, there's all different sorts of motivations that determine whether or not a player has any interest in your team at all. Like here with Von Miller, his biggest motivator is that he wants to play for Super Bowl team, Super Bowl contender, Super Bowl chase, however you want to word it. And that's why he signed with the Bills. He also has highest offer on there, which is one we haven't seen yet. It is the bottom one, which means it's the least significant motivation to him. And just because you don't have green interest in all three of them doesn't necessarily mean that you can't sign them. Here's Dwayne Brown, and with him being an aging player, his biggest motivation is that he starts. As you can see here as well, this is another one we haven't seen yet. No income tax is one of the new ones also. Here with Odell, he wants to play in a big market, and Tampa Bay is somewhere in the middle. It's yellow interest, and when it's yellow, it's obviously in the middle. So green means the most, or largest impact, largest interest. Yellow is the second most, kind of in the middle, sort of like normal, and red obviously means the worst or the lowest impact. Here with Anthony Barr, his biggest motivator is that he plays in a warm weather state. Obviously, after playing in Minnesota his whole career, he wants to play somewhere that's not -5 degrees, even in the summer. Another important one that we haven't seen yet is historic championships, which is third on Anthony Barr's list. It's the lowest one to him because, I mean, he came from Minnesota. They've never had a championship. So I don't know if that's how they factor that in. I also don't know how they determine this stuff, whether or not... I think it's just random, honestly. They probably just randomly put them in there, but that's what they are. Yeah, some players just don't like the cold. Some players just want to play for a team that has a long history of championships. Some players just want to play for a coach with a winning record. I know that's one of the new ones. And as you see here with Julio, he's extremely likely to sign with the Cowboys in this franchise here, if they offer him. All of his motivations are in the green. Next up is player tag. So if you look here at Aaron Rodgers, he has the award winner tag. Now when a player wins an award like MVP or Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, anything like that, they're going to get what's called the award winner tag, which means that teams are going to be more interested in signing them if they're to hit free agency. Notice here as well that he also has the franchise quarterback tag. And if you read that there, it says he won't be replaced by the team until later in his career. I don't know how the tags are going to be affected by age, or if they lose certain tags after a certain amount of time, or if their tag changes ever. Like here with Jamar Chase, he has the day one starter tag. And it says that as a day one starter, they will be placed above similarly rated players on the depth chart, and that teams are unlikely to draft a replacement. And we don't know exactly what similarly rated means, if that's 2 overalls, 3 overalls, 4 overalls, but if you see here, Chase is 2 overalls lower than Tyler Boyd, but is listed above him on the depth chart because of that day 1 starter tag. Bobby Wagner, for example, has mentor tag, which means the teams are going to be likely to sign him because of that tag, because he boosts weekly training XP for other players at his position. So him being a middle linebacker, other players at middle linebacker on the Rams will get an XP boost in weekly training because they have a mentor on their team. Next up, we have the free agency hub. Now here they're showing Derwin James, specific motivations and his overall interest in your team. The team that they are controlling here is the Los Angeles Rams. He has green interest because of the big market that Los Angeles is. It also shows his expected value as well as how many teams are interested and whether or not you have offered on the specific player. The other thing that they changed is limiting how many players you may negotiate with during each stage. So in stage 1, you have 5 negotiations you can do. This is to limit people from just offering crazy amounts to all the top guys on the first stage of free agency. So you kind of have to be strategic with who you send contracts to at any stage. Here at stage 2, you have 10 negotiations, and at stage 3, it is unlimited. Meaning you can just round out the rest of your team and pick up some guys you wanted to get in the first rounds. So if I was playing Madden 23 franchise right now, my thought process would be to go after the better players first. The better players, the ones I want the most in stage 1, and then second most in stage 2, and so on and so forth down the board. Because in stage 3, I can get all those lower guys that I can turn into stars. I can get all those guys then. And here you also have what's called eval offers. Now you get 3 remaining. If I remember correctly, they said you get 3 per stage. You might get 3 overall, but I think you get 3 per stage. And basically, you can send a contract to somebody and you click on the eval offers thing to see how much interest, like whether or not they're going to sign with you basically without having to advance to the next stage. So you can change course altogether. Like I could send a contract here to Derwin James and then I click on the eval offers and click on Derwin James contract. Basically, it's going to tell me whether or not he is going to sign with me. And I could take the contract away then, and I could give it to DK Metcalf or Terry McLaurin or Odell or whoever. So that way I'm not pigeonholed on after stage 1 of free agency already. Now next we have contract offers. Now they've put in specific contracts. So there's player friendly, team friendly, neutral, very player friendly, and then obviously custom, a custom offer. Now all these can be turned into custom offers. You pretty much use these as a starting point for negotiations, so all these contracts can be adjusted as needed. Now here we have what they called rollover cap. Now I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work like exactly, but they said you can roll over unused cap into the next season. So my cap from 2022, I can roll over into 2023 and so on and so forth. I don't know if you're going to have to use like a certain amount or if you can only roll over like 10 million or something specific like that. Scouting. So now they have put in scouts that'll have 2 positions. Now I know last year, like Rondé Barber is a good example of this. He had cornerback, and I want to say strong safety was his secondary position. But this year, everybody has a position 1 and position 2. They have 1 offense and 1 defensive position. And last year, you could only scout 1 of the positions, whereas this year, they're going to scout both of them. So that's going to give you more information about more of the prospects. And honestly, that's pretty exciting. Now, they've also added in more scouts, so you never have to worry about not having a scout available at a position that you need scouted. And if you see here, the tiers are now stars. It doesn't change anything, it just changes how it looks, but they act exactly the same way they did before. Now, here they show Malcolm James from Madden 22, and they show stamina, stiff arm, a few throwing stats, and they said that this was done randomly in Madden 22, but in Madden 23, the stuff you're going to see earlier on are the important stuff. So for this quarterback, Billy Bennett, I'm not sure why they showed somebody with 0 things shown, but you're going to see accuracies first. You're going to see the throw power, the short accuracy, medium accuracy. You're going to see all that stuff first instead of having to wait until later, as opposed to seeing the spin move and the stamina and the injury of the quarterback. Like, we want to see the throwing stats first. Then they show this guy here, Julius Ash. Now, they said every now and again you'll be able to find generational talents, and this right here is an example of a generational talent. Not only is he an 86 overall with good stats, but these players are also guaranteed to have X factor straight out of the draft. They also said that they're rare, but I don't know how rare they are. So that's kind of exciting now to be able to try and hunt for these players in the draft and hope that you get lucky and get one of them. And here they show the trade block. Now, the trade block looks basically exactly the same, but they said you're going to see players appear more often. More players are going to show up as well. Now they show the player tag for trade target. Now that player gets added to the trade block automatically. And if you look here, you'll see trade offers immediately. As soon as the players put up on the trade block, you're going to get trade offers. You no longer have to advance a week and then check the offers. You get them as soon as they go up on the trade block, you'll have offers. It's basically like how NBA does Trade Finder. That's pretty much what this is. It's pretty much Trade Finder now. Now here is just a picture of the draft recap screen. This here is the draft hub. You can now see all the people, all the prospects, and everything that they're good at. And if you look here on the right-hand side, this is new. You can now see all of their most important stats. As you look here on Nicholas Thornton, his catching traffic, his catching, his deep route running, and release. You no longer will have to click on that specific player to find all that information out. It's right there on the beginning of the screen. That'll determine whether or not you want to click on the player. You no longer have to go through and click every single player to figure this stuff out. I also like how they show him. He's the number 6 prospect, and he has an F catching. Now, I do actually like that because draft busts do exist, and it's kind of cool for them to show one as they're showing this off as well. Here's Deebo Samuel. Now, they mentioned that there is now a wider pool of abilities. And I don't know if that means that they added more abilities, but they also raised the overall threshold on certain abilities. If you look here, you now need to be a 90 overall to get evasive. Now here, they're just showing the layout of the new hub, the new main screen. If you look in the bottom left corner, you have the Bears logo, and then obviously the color, the dark blue all around for the Bears. We have the same thing here with the Dolphins, as well as the Broncos. And it does look nicer, and it gives it some energy and some life, and that is exciting. Now here, they're comparing last year's to this year's, and they tried to say they decluttered the text, but I don't know if they think they decluttered because they put little logos, but it looks fairly the exact same. And here are the type of prospects that you can now find in the draft. You have generational prospects, 99 club prospects, high variance prospects, and specialist prospects. All are different in their own way, but I'm not going to read all of that. Pause if you feel like you need to. But yeah, that's all the franchise information. I am super excited for Madden 23 as I'm filming this. We're exactly 1 month away. Yeah, I'm back. Going to be making many videos over the course of Madden 23 season, so please like, subscribe, comment anything you want to see, and I'll see you all in the next video.